In the heart of Eastern Europe, a nation finds itself caught in a demographic vortex. Ukraine, a country known for its rich history and resilient people, is facing an unprecedented crisis that threatens its very existence. As the conflict with Russia drags on, Ukraine is running out of its most precious resource, its people. The once bustling streets of Ukrainian cities and villages now echo with an eerie silence. Where there were once thriving communities, there are now ghost towns. The reason? A perfect storm of war, migration, and a plummeting birth rate has created a demographic crisis unlike anything seen in modern times. Let's start with the numbers. In the first half of 2024, Ukraine welcomed just 87,655 newborns into the world. This may sound like a lot, but it's a 9% decrease from the previous year and a staggering 1.5 times less than pre-war levels. To put this into perspective, in 2021, before the full-scale Russian invasion, 132,595 babies were born in the same period. The birth rate has been in free fall since 2013, dropping by about 7% annually, but the war has accelerated this decline to unprecedented levels. But it's not just about fewer births. The grim reality is that Ukraine is losing its population at an alarming rate. For every newborn, 3 Ukrainians are dying. In the first 6 months of 2024 alone, 250,972 deaths were recorded. This mortality rate is 3 times higher than the birth rate, a key indicator of a severe demographic crisis. The war has cast a long shadow over Ukraine's population dynamics. Millions have fled the country, seeking safety beyond its borders. Those who remain are caught in a web of uncertainty, with many men of fighting age, either already on the front lines or living in fear of conscription. Take the village of Makiv, for instance. This small rural community in southwest Ukraine has become a microcosm of the nation's demographic nightmare. Here, the absence of men is palpable. Those who aren't already fighting are in constant fear of being drafted. The local school keeps a somber database of students whose parents are deployed, a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict. The stories from Makiv are heart-wrenching. Larisa Bodnar, the deputy director of the local school, puts it bluntly. Most of them are gone. The desperation for more troops has led to aggressive conscription tactics. Civilians in Makiv speak of military recruiters roaming the streets, searching for any remaining men. These methods have sown panic and resentment, especially in small towns and villages where hiding from recruiters is nearly impossible. The demographic crisis is not just a matter of numbers. It's a human tragedy unfolding in real time. Families are being torn apart, communities hollowed out. The impact of this population drain extends far beyond the military sphere. Ukraine's economy, already battered by war, is now facing a critical shortage of workers. From factory floors to construction sites, from mines to restaurants, businesses are struggling to find employees. This labor crunch is not just a wartime inconvenience. It's a fundamental threat to Ukraine's ability to sustain its economy and support its war effort. Major companies like Metinvest, a steel and mining conglomerate employing almost 60,000 people, are feeling the pinch. Tetiana Petruk, the company's chief sustainability officer, describes a 3-month intensive search to fill just 89 positions at a steel plant in Zaporizhzhia. What would have taken a month in peacetime now drags on, hampering the company's ability to restart war-damaged capacity. The labor shortage is driving up wages as businesses compete for the dwindling pool of workers. While this might seem like good news for employees, it's a double-edged sword. Higher wages can lead to inflation, putting further strain on an already stressed economy. Ukraine's central bank has noted this phenomenon, anticipating that wages adjusted for price growth are on track to surpass pre-war levels next year. This economic conundrum is compounded by the shadow economy that has emerged. Many men, seeking to avoid conscription, have disappeared into a world of unregistered employment. This not only deprives the state of much-needed tax revenue, but also makes it harder for legitimate businesses to find workers. The strain is visible across all sectors. Kyiv's metro system has announced plans to run fewer trains due to a significant deficit of workers. In Mykolaiv, a southern city near the front line, bus services have been reduced because of the mobilization of drivers. Ukraine's government finds itself in an impossible position. On one hand, there's an urgent need to replenish military ranks. On the other, there's the pressing necessity to keep the economy afloat. It's a delicate balancing act with no easy solutions. The recently enacted mobilization law aims to bring in hundreds of thousands of new troops, but it risks further depleting the workforce. Some businesses are adapting by hiring women for jobs traditionally held by men, bringing in students, or even looking to foreign workers, including migrants from countries like Turkey. But these are stopgap measures that cannot fully address the scale of the problem. The demographic crisis is also reshaping the geographical distribution of Ukraine's population. The war has accelerated urbanization trends, with people fleeing rural areas for the relative safety and economic opportunities of larger cities. This shift is creating new challenges, from housing shortages in urban areas to the abandonment of agricultural land in the countryside. As Ukraine grapples with this demographic crisis, the long-term consequences loom large. A shrinking, aging population means fewer young people to drive innovation, fewer workers to support pensioners, and a smaller tax base to fund essential services and the ongoing war effort. The situation has not gone unnoticed by Ukraine's international partners. Some have suggested lowering the conscription age to 18, believing the 18-25 age group is the most effective for military service. However, Ukrainian officials have so far resisted such measures, aware of the potential backlash and further economic disruption they could cause. The future of Ukraine hangs in the balance. As the country fights for its territorial integrity, it's also fighting for its demographic survival. The challenge is monumental: how to defend the nation without depleting its human resources to the point of no return. It's a race against time, with each passing day seeing more Ukrainians lost to war, emigration, or simple demographics. In the face of this crisis, Ukraine's resilience is being tested like never before. The country that has survived invasions, famines, and political upheavals throughout its history now faces perhaps its greatest challenge yet: ensuring that there will be enough Ukrainians to carry its legacy into the future. The clock is ticking for Ukraine. As it fights on multiple fronts, military, economic, and demographic, the question remains: can Ukraine find a way to replenish its ranks, rebuild its economy, and reverse its population decline? The answer to this question will not only shape the future of Ukraine, but could also have profound implications for the geopolitical landscape of Eastern Europe and beyond.